Hey guys, afternoon. Today is Sunday, and this is, I guess, one of the first, maybe second series on my channel for YouTube. Obviously, besides the witchy unboxings. So today is Crystal Talk. So I was writing down a few, I guess, commonly known crystals to most people and just kind of some of their properties and stuff. I also put those crystals here as well. So these are the two books that I have regarding crystals. Katie Jane Wright. This book is just called Crystals. This was the very first book that I bought. And this one, I believe, shows some topics for different things of what to do with crystals, crystal journaling, breath work with crystals, crystal gridding. So for someone who's really just starting out with crystals, this is it's a pretty good book. And then I have this book. So this one has featuring over 200 crystals. This book, it's the Crystal Bible, Definitive Guide to Crystals. It's by Judy Hall. It even gives you right here in the index. So if you just want to go to like a specific crystal itself, to look, then that's where you would do. So let's see, 196. There we go. Just because there's something in there that I want to show you guys later. So I figure might as well just get it all set up already. So, I work with crystals quite a lot. Anybody who knows me knows that I carry a bunch of variety of crystals on myself, like on my being. Sometimes I'll have them in my pocket. 9 out of 10, they're in my bra. Certain ones I'll put in my pocket. Like hematite, I'll put in my pocket. Some other crystals I'll put in my pocket. It's just how I carry them. Other crystals, like amethyst, rose quartz, clear quartz, things like that, I'll carry them in my bra. So, my husband jokes and says, well, you're married to a witch when she takes her bra off and forgets or is just so tired and doesn't take the crystals out first, and you see all the crystals fall on the bed. So that's his little joke. I have necklaces that I'll wear and carry. This one, my best friend, she's my sister from another mother, Ajal. She gave me this for my birthday, which has a moonstone in it. This one, I have to get a new chain because the clasp broke yesterday, so I was actually very upset. My daughter gave me this one. This one is a carnelian, which we will be talking about today. So, and this one is actually from my witch's casket. It was a ritual, a spell ritual that we had to do. This is a clear quartz that has been infused with the intention of protection. So working with crystals, I mean, there's so much that you can do when you're working with crystals. You know, aligning your chakras, um, meditation, spell work. Um, you can put them in your plants. My plants here, I have some clear quartz sitting on top of them. Obviously, if you're going to put your crystals with your plants, you want to make sure that they're okay to be put in water. There are some crystals that are not water soluble, like selenite here. It will dissolve, like it'll damage it, dissolve. Bumblebee jasper, which we'll talk about in another segment. It's a beautiful, beautiful stone. Again, you don't want to put it in contact with water. You yourself don't want to handle it too much either, as it's arsenic. It releases arsenic. So you have to be very safe, you know, if you are going to be working with bumblebee jasper. I'm not sure what just happened there. You know, so like, don't handle it too much. Definitely do not put it in water for use with any type of elixirs and stuff like that. Elixirs is where you place the stone, you hold the stone. So, you know, you would hold the crystal or the stone, you would hold it, meditate on it, and then you would put your intention of what you want the stone to help you with in the crystal, right? Or the stone. And then you would put it in water. You can put it outside on a full moon, any of the moon phases. Reggae, leave Athena alone. Reggae. Sorry, my cat and my dog are in here, so, and now that my door is closed, they're stuck in here for now. Reggae. Reggae. Come on. Come lay down, mama. Come on. Hey, psst, psst. Reggae. Get up here and lie down. Don't be troublesome. Leave her alone. She doesn't need mothering. Sorry, my dog likes to mother everybody. Lie down. So, yes, moon water, you would put, you know, fill your jar. Always a glass jar. You always want to use a glass jar when you're doing moon water. Put your intention in your crystal or stone, and then you would put it inside the jar with the water, and then you would put it outside under the moon. A lot of people just do like new moon and full moon. You can do any moon phase. Eventually later, that's going to be another series that I'll talk about, is moon magic. As I learn more about it, I will teach you guys, or, you know, kind of give you guys the info, you know. But you can work with all the different phases of the moon. Each phase of the moon offers like different help, and, you know, represents different things, you know, like, you know, new moon is like new beginnings and, you know, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'll talk about that more on another date, another series. So when you put the crystal in the water like that, it turns the water into an elixir. It now becomes an elixir. So all the properties of the crystal, so let's say you're doing one with rose quartz. This is a rose quartz sphere. Rose quartz is very good for self-love and, you know, all those properties, which we will go over. This is one of the crystals that we are talking about. So it now becomes infused with the moon water. You know, so you can work with the moon water. You know, you can drink it. You know, drink a little bit every morning before you start your day. You can cleanse your face with it, cleanse your tools with it, water your plants with it if you wanted to. Like, there's all kinds of things that you would use the elixir with, you know, make your tea, all kinds of things you use the elixirs for. You know, your bath, set yourself a bath. You can use some of your moon water. So those properties and intentions that have been infused into the crystal and into the water, you're now bathing and cleansing yourself with them, you know? So it becomes a bath ritual, right? So yeah, there's so much you can work with crystals, you know. My girls, when they're feeling, this crazy cat, Athena. My girls will sometimes come up if they're feeling, you know, overwhelmed or stressed, and they're like, oh, mommy, can you like do your crystal witchy magic on me, please? And, you know, they'll lie on my bed, and I'll kind of talk with them a bit, just to kind of find out where they're at, what they're feeling, and things like that. And then I will pick specific crystals out of my collection, and I'll hold them in my hand, and I will put my intention in those crystals and what I want, what I am asking them to help me with, you know, as I'm working, you know, with my daughters. And then I will place the crystals on them. And then I have like a whole little kind of ritual ceremony thing that I'll do, you know, like I'll smudge them with, you know, sage, white sage, Palo Santo. I have like a specific music playlist that I'll play as I'm performing everything for them. And then, you know, I'll make sure there's candles lit, and then I'll have some incense, and then I just let them be. I just let them lie there. I let them, you know, just listen to the music, let the music kind of, you know, guide them, and let the crystals work, and let the crystals kind of soak up, you know, whatever that energy is, you know, if it's, you know, energies of anxiety and, you know, like a panic attack and overthinking, blockages, you know, whatever it is that they've come up to ask me to help them with, I let the crystals work, you know. And then after they leave, I take my crystals, I cleanse my crystals, and then I recharge them so they're ready for the next time that I need them, you know. You always want to recharge your crystals after you use them. And then before you use them, you always want to hold them and put your intention into them for that day of, you know, what, you know, you want them to help you with, you know. I work full-time. I'm a full-time cashier. And where I work, it's extremely busy. It's always busy. There's never a day that we're not busy. I'm an essential worker. I work at Costco, so we're always crazy. So I always carry a variety of crystals for a variety of different things. You know, you come across different people. Obviously, I always carry one for protection, especially with what's going on in the world today. You know, and then I always have one for self-love. I have one that helps with anxiety and just kind of keeping a balance, my emotions a balance, and, you know, my temper. I do have a quick temper. Anybody that knows me knows this. So, you know, and then I'll carry one to protect against negativity. And then I'll have, you know, to not only to protect me against negativity, but basically to put up a shield around me. So any negativity that comes to my way, it's like water, you know, it reflects. So it just reflects that energy back to whoever the sender is, you know. I also wear my crystals on my for bracelets. This is my third to protect me against the evil eye. You never know if somebody is giving you the evil eye, whether it's intentional or non-intentional. Some people can do it unintentionally and not even realize that, you know, they're sending you the evil eye, like they're giving you the evil eye, you know. I carry ones to protect against psychic attacks, as I'm an empath. So I feel everything. I feel everybody's emotions, everybody's energies, everything. You know, I also have different types of clairvoyance as well. You know, audio. Sometimes I will hear things, smell, taste, a lot for dreamings, like, you know, dreaming and stuff. There's things that I like are instilled as a memory in me. And when I had spoken to my mother about them, I should have never known them because I wasn't even born. I was in my mother in the womb still. So no explanation how that is. You know, so I carry a lot of different variety of crystals because I need to protect myself, you know, from psychic attacks and things like that, you know, because you never know who you're coming across, right? You know, some people can be extremely malicious and, you know, because they didn't like my service or they felt some type of a way, you know, as they're leaving, they could be like, oh, you know, I wish this upon her, or, you know, whatever. And because I'm so extremely intuitive and, you know, sensitive to those types of energies, if I didn't protect myself and I didn't have a shield, it would affect me. So I always protect myself, especially now that I'm more aware of my abilities, and, you know, I'm still learning my abilities and opening them up more so they're more clear. So now, like, I'm extremely protective of my energy and my abilities, you know. So there's a number of different ways of how you can cleanse your crystals. I'm pretty sure I had kind of briefly talked about it in some of my previous videos. There's smoke cleansing, which you would use, you know, white sage. You know, you can use Palo Santo. This is a lavender. And you would literally just kind of run it in the smoke, like through the smoke. Okay, don't be so picky. Pick a spot, lie down. You can put them on your windowsill, or if you're able and you know the weather and it's not gonna rain, you can put them outside under the full moon or under the moon, full moon, new moon. There's also, you can also charge them under the sun. Be careful with the sun because the sun can actually damage the crystals. So you want to know your crystals and know which ones can go in water, which ones can go out in the sun, because the sun can actually damage the crystals. So if you do choose to work with the sun, which the sun in itself has amazing properties and, you know, magical properties and energetic, like energy properties, as well as the moon does. You need to know all the properties and the crystals themselves, you know, like you need to know which crystals can go out in the sun where it won't cause damage and, you know, stuff like that. So if you are going to be working with the sun, make sure you do your homework, do your research, so you know what crystals you can put out and let them sit out in the sun for a bit to charge, okay? Alrighty. So the first crystal that we are going to talk about is clear quartz, which everybody knows clear quartz. You'd have to be living under a rock to not know clear quartz. Crystals come in different size, different shapes, raw, tumbled. I don't even know if I have any. Do I have any raw crystal? I did have some raw crystal, but I know I had given my girls some crystals, and my son, because my son has been learning about crystals and stuff. I think this might be the closest that I have to a raw crystal. Do, 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 do. Yep, looks like it. Okay, so sorry guys. In the quartz family too, there's a lot of different quartz. So today, I'll talk about clear quartz and then rose quartz. There's also peach quartz. This is peach quartz here, just to show you. And each quartz actually has a different property to it. This is a rough rose quartz here. So this is probably the closest that I have to kind of sort of like a rough quartz, but it's still not really a rough quartz. You have clear quartz that come in a sphere. So this is a sphere. So, you know, like your crystal ball. And then you have quartz that come as, I believe these ones are called points. You can get clear quartz wands. The clear quartz wands would look something like this. This isn't clear quartz, but it would look something like that. A lot of witch tools will have, you know, some kind of crystal work on it. Like this is a wand. It's got a crystal on the top. Although I don't think this is a clear quartz though, because it kind of has a bit of yellow tinge. So I actually think it's citrine. So clear quartz, let's just talk. Sorry, I wrote some notes down here. So clear quartz are amazing tools. They amplify other crystals, which is why I always carry a clear quartz with any other crystals that I'm doing. Any spells that I do, I'll put a clear quartz chip in it, just because it amplifies any other crystals that are in there. It gives the other crystals a boost, like an energy boost, you know, so it'll, you know, whatever other crystals that you're carrying with you or that you have in any spell work that you're doing, you know, spell bottles, charm bags, dream bags, anything like that, it'll amplify those crystals, you know. So like if you have a piece of amethyst with it, well, it's going to amplify the properties of the amethyst. Crystals, clear quartz crystals, it holds all 7 color rays that affect the chakra system. So all 7 colors for the chakra, your chakras, the crystal actually holds all 7 of those colors in them, which is why it's such an amazing crystal to work with. You know, if you're doing a spell and, you know, you're making a spell jar or a charm bag, anything like that, and let's say it asks for I don't know, a piece of carnelian, and you don't have any carnelian, you can use a clear quartz in its place. You know, You can use a clear quartz in its place and put the intention of the properties of the carnelian into the crystal. So it aligns all your chakras all at once to rebalance you. So like if you're just doing a quick meditation, you know, 10-15 minutes, you don't have enough time to sit and, you know, gather all your crystals and, you know, put them all in alignment for your chakras. You could literally just use a clear quartz and you just hold them in each of your hands, you know, or you can just place one here, you know, kind of in the center, and then do your meditation for to realign your chakras, because it has all 7 color rays inside of it itself already. It'll realign you already, you know. Let's see. It opens your higher chakras, especially your crown, to let in more light, you know, to move around your body. What else? Let's see. It also clears hazy and blocked energy through all the layers of your aura, especially your crown, which gives you clarity of the mind, helping you to focus and more conscious in the present. It's a good crystal to have with you when manifesting, strengthening, positive affirmations, ability to focus, intensify, record, and transform energy. So if you're just starting out, you know, working with crystals should be your number one. Clear quartz should be your number one crystal that you have, just because it does so much. Like, I just kind of tried to skim from the 2 books and take different things, because I mean, I could have been writing forever on, well, all the properties actually for the crystals. I just wanted to kind of do a basic, you know, to give you an information on them, and then you guys can further read, you know, information, you know. So number one crystal, if you're just starting out, get yourself a clear quartz, you know. So now we'll talk about selenite. Selenite, like all other crystals, I mean, you can get it in different ones. This is a selenite wand. It's tumbled, it's nice, it's smooth. This is a rough, like a raw selenite. So as you can see, the texture of it, it's very rough. This is also a wand as well. You can get them where they're shaped into tools. This is my athame that I had got in my Witch's Moon casket, or wow, my Witch's Moon box. I believe it was January. So this is a witch's tool. It's an athame. You can also get them like this. This is like a big kind of like rough point tower. I have quite a few pieces of selenite. I have them all over my altars. I have my big altar here, and I have like a small mini one kind of attached to the big one. I have them all spread out. Selenite is, it's very good for cleansing your crystals. So if you have crystals around your selenite, it'll cleanse your crystals. The chakra alignment for selenite is your crown with your third eye. Selenite opens up and expands the third eye. Crown chakra, making it a great crystal for inner wisdom. Psychic development, journeying, refreshing. Selenite energy is deeply connected to the moon. It is also a great crystal to have as it cleanses and protects your space and brings light to your aura and space. It also cleanses your other crystals as well, which I spoke about. It removes energy blocks from the physical and etheric bodies, sorry, as well as your other crystals. A good protector during childbirth and throughout motherhood. It also promotes fertility. The crystal of love, selenite, helps you with self-love, maintaining a loving relationship with yourself and those around you. Since it opens your crown chakra, if you are especially sensitive, be careful where you put it. Your bedside table may not be a good place to put it, as well as under your pillow, unless you want astral adventures. Also, do not put in or near water. It is water soluble, meaning it will dissolve in water. So if you're very sensitive, you may not want to have selenite kind of around your sleeping area, or under your pillow. Some people sleep with crystals. I sleep with crystals. I actually change my crystals under my pillow periodically. I also sleep with my runes and my pendulum under my pillow as well. If you've never astral traveled or had any kind of outer body experience, if you have selenite in and around your bed and you are sensitive, you just, may not be aware that you're sensitive, I would suggest not to have it, beside your bed. Like, maybe put it somewhere else in your room, or in another room altogether. I'm very comfortable with astral projecting and out-of-body experiences. I do it quite frequently when I am doing a really deep meditation. I've been doing it since I was a kid and just obviously didn't know that that's what it was. I just thought I was flying. So, so I'm very comfortable with it. It doesn't freak me out. But someone who has never left their body or had the experience of leaving their body and astral projecting and, astral journeying, it can freak them out. My husband has never done it. We've been married for almost 30 years. And it was a few months back. He had his very first astral projection. And he woke up in the morning. I remember we were lying in bed, because we'll wake up in the morning and we'll just kind of lie in bed and, watch TV or we'll just lie in bed and talk and whatever. Anyways, we were talking and I had mentioned to him that, he was dreaming. Just, I'm a very light sleeper, so I have to go to sleep before my husband does, or I'll have problems sleeping. And I had mentioned to him that, I kind of had to rub his back a bit and stuff because, he was dreaming and stuff. Like, he was kind of like restless, moving around, and my husband never moves when he's sleeping other than to turn to a different side. That's about it. And he was like, yeah, I had the weirdest dream. So anytime my husband says he had the weirdest dream, we're all intrigued in the house, myself and both of my daughters, because he's not one to really talk about dreams. I was like, oh, really? What was the dream about? And So he proceeded to tell me about his dream and how he was flying and like, you know, he's like, it's like I left my body, like I was, you know, standing over myself. And he was talking about it. He goes, oh my God, like it was so trippy and it like freaked me out. And I started laughing. And he's like, why are you laughing? And I said, I'm not sorry. I apologize. I shouldn't have laughed. I was like, you know, baby, that's astral projecting. I said, you left your body. And he was like, wait, what? Does that mean I died? I was like, no, honey, that didn't mean you died. It's just you were relaxed enough that, you know, your body, your spirit just left. You know, I said, and it was more than likely trying to show you something. You know, I said, it depends. And he couldn't quite remember everything in the dream. He just like specifically remembered standing over himself and looking at himself sleep, like us sleeping basically, and then kind of traveling away. But like he doesn't remember where he traveled to or, you know, anything like that, you know, just he just remembers that. And it's because he's never done it before. So it kind of freaked him out, right? So I told him, I was like, well, it said, if it happens again, I said, you know, don't be scared. It's, you know, there's a lot of times there's messages that you'll receive from, you know, your spirit guide or your ancestor and stuff. And, you know, because my husband is reading on Buddhism and, you know, stuff like that, because it's something that he has always kind of felt connected to. So now just, you know, now he has the time to really read, you know, his book on, you know, Buddhism for like beginners kind of thing and how to get into it and, you know, the ways and stuff like that. And I just told him, I said, it just may be that, you know, because you're starting to read that, it's trying to show you like, hey, you know, you're on the right path. This is the path that you're meant to be on, you know, keep doing it. And I said, the more and more you work with it, the more and more you understand it, and the more and more you embody it, that is something that kind of follows through with it, you know, like they're kind of hand in hand, so to speak, you know. And some people, you know, follow that path and they never ever have, you know, any type of experience with astral projecting or astral journeying, anything like that, you know. And then some, it just depends on, you know, how sensitive you are to it, you know. But I mean, we all have the ability to do it. You know, we just need to clear all of those blockages, you know, and work, you know, with the other realms to develop it. That's, you know, that's what I think anyways. So the next crystal, it's actually both of my daughters, one of their favorite crystals. I don't really have a favorite crystal. I love all crystals. So this is rose quartz. So this is a rough rose quartz. This is what it looks like. It's a very pale pink. Sometimes, especially I find sometimes when they get tumbled, the color will kind of be a little bit more deeper. Sometimes it's, you know, like with the rough, sometimes it's so light. You have to really look to see if it's a clear quartz or if it's a clear quartz. Even as light as it is, there'll still be like a hue of pink in it. You know, like this is the lightest colored one that I have. Let me just try and get it to focus. So this is the lightest color of rose quartz that I have. And then I have this one, which came in, I believe it was my Hag Swag subscription box. And it's a beautiful chunk of rose quartz. It's a rough rose quartz. And then I have a sphere rose quartz as well. And I also have a point for rose quartz. I think I have 2 of these. Points are really good if you do crystal gridding. One of my best friends who I work with, she's kind of like our mini meatball. We call each other meatballs. So myself and Ajal, we're meatballs, and she's our mini meatball. The 3 of us are always together. It's myself, Ajal, and Jocelyn. The 3 of us always together. And we always do, like, we always talk about crystals and stuff like that. I've kind of converted her, I think between me and her daughter, I've kind of converted her into a little crystal witch. She's getting into the crystal gridding and stuff like that. So she always texts me, I finished my crystal grid. I put my crystal grid up, and okay, it's a full moon. What can I do? And, you know, like, she's always texts me like, okay, what can I do next? And, you know, she's just this ball of energy all the time. I love it. Crystal points are really, really good for crystal gridding. Obviously, just because, you know, they stand, right? Or like the smaller pieces of rose quartz, which, oh, I do have a small one. I didn't think I had any left. Nope, that's an amethyst. I lied. I think I have a small piece of rose quartz somewhere. The smaller pieces are good too, you know. The chakra alignment for rose quartz is your heart. This crystal opens you up to all sorts of love in all shapes and form. I carry a rose quartz with me and have a lot of it, as it helps me with loving myself a little more. It is a crystal of unconditional love, teaching you to honor yourself, see your like your worth, your self-worth, believe it, you know, for believing in yourself, to honor yourself, love the very bones of you, and be open to love in all its forms, you know. So, you know, like, if you've had past traumas, you know, issues like self-esteem and not really loving yourself, it's a really good crystal to have, which I've always struggled with self-esteem. And I mean, I still do for, you know, certain things. My, you know, like, my abilities, I always kind of second guess my abilities. I've gotten a lot better, I'd say within the last like year, with it, just, and that's literally the help of my, you know, my sisterhood community, you know, my sister witches that I've now are my family. I consider each of them my family and hold a very, very special place in my heart for every single one of them. Even the new ones that are now, you know, coming in and, you know, being mended and weaved in to our community. who are graduating from which school, I went to which school, um, I have and hold a special place for each of them in my heart as well. And they've all, helped me in different aspects of my life with, different things. And some of them are older than I am. So, I look up to them, for their knowledge, and their guidance. And, they've all helped me with, not second guessing myself and just, going with what I feel is right and following my intuition and strengthening that even more than what it was before, and and stuff like that. And being, loving myself, like everything, and loving my body, and you know believing and embodying my beauty. You don't have to be 95 pounds to be beautiful and to be wearing certain things. If I feel comfortable wearing a crop top and a pair of jeans and my belly is showing, I'm comfortable with it, and I love myself, and I know I look beautiful. And that's the energy that I hold on to. And there are days where I'm like, ugh, really, and I kind of feel me, kind of going back into that closet, so to speak, um and that self-conscious way. And then I'm like, whoa, not today, honey. We work too hard, and we can't be pushing and helping other people and telling other people to love themselves and be comfortable in their skin and be comfortable with their body and loving their body and loving themselves and putting themselves out there if we still gonna have one foot back in the closet. That's not how it works. We're out, and we need to stay out. We don't go back in the closet. We don't hide for nobody. And so that's, I every so often I can kind of feel, that pull back in, and I'm like, no, not today. This sister is never going to be back in that closet again. I spent most of my life in that closet, and with the help, before my sisters, my husband, who was always like, you're beautiful inside and out. You're so beautiful. I wish you could see what I see. And, it was hard. And I mean, in the beginning of our relationship, it was really, really hard. And like, I wish I knew, everything that I know now, and would have started working and practicing, what I do now back then, because I feel like my life would have been better. Not that my life was bad, but it was just, I wouldn't have carried and harbored, so much hurt and, lack of confidence and low self-esteem and all those little thoughts in your head. Oh no, don't, you're getting kind of fat, oh, look at your thigh. No, you can't wear that. You're not skinny enough to wear that outfit, or you're not skinny enough to wear that top. And, you should always have makeup on, because, it hides the ugliness. Like, I wouldn't have never had any of those thoughts in my head, and I struggled so hard. And a lot of people seem to be so surprised that I suffered from extremely low self-esteem and, just self-doubts and, like, I guess, hatred for myself. Because when I had my daughter, my very first child, which was my daughter, my eldest daughter, I pushed so much positivity on her because I did not want her to struggle in life the way I did, you know. So when somebody would tell her she was ugly and, oh my God, your hair, you know, I would always, they're just jealous. They're just jealous because they got to go and put chemicals in their hair to get their hair curly like that, you know. Or if they made a comment, you know, about her skin, you know, my children are biracial, you know, I would, I always came back with, you know, well, they're just jealous. They're ignorant, they don't understand, and they're just jealous. You know, they got to stand outside and get skin cancer, you know, and use creams to get their skin, you know, that golden, beautiful color. Like, you know, she's a little kid, so I'm trying to find ways of, you know, combating that negative energy that was trying to be put on her with something that was positive. And you know, whether it was the right way to handle it or the wrong way to handle it, I was doing what I thought was the best for her at the time, you know. And I always told her, you know, how beautiful she was and how talented she was, and you can do anything you want to do, you know. I remember at one point she wanted to be an astronaut. It wasn't for a long period of time. It was like a little short time, because she's like me, you know, when we used to go for walks at night, you know, we would always look at the stars and we would look at the moon. And, you know, I would tell her, you know, see that big bright star there? That's my mare. My mare is looking down on you, which is my grandmother. She was very close to my grandmother, you know, and it's just stuff like that, you know. And so she was like, I want to travel to the space. Is there a job that you can travel to space to? And I was like, yes, it's called an astronaut. You know, they go up to the moon and they, you know, look at the planets. They said that's how we get, you know, our information, you know. Well, I want to do that. And I remember this little boy in our class told her she couldn't do it. And she's like, well, why not? Well, because you're a girl. And she came home and she told me, and I was like, you tell that little boy that you can do anything you put your mind to it. Doesn't matter if you're a girl or a boy. Anybody can do anything. You know, you want to be a mechanic and, you know, work on cars, you can be a mechanic and work on cars. Like, you, whatever you want to do and what makes you happy, you can do it. You know, and I always tried to instill that in my daughters, you know, and I always told them how beautiful they were, you know, because I didn't want them to suffer, you know, and struggle the way I struggled, you know. And which is more than likely why they're very attached. And they both resonate a lot with rose quartz, you know. You know, so if, you know, you're someone, you know, who struggles with, you know, loving yourself and, you know, your self-esteem and stuff like that, this is a really, really good crystal to work with, you know, for yourself. It'll help you and it'll guide you. It'll teach you about, you know, loving yourself and, you know, giving you that confidence and, you know, that self-esteem and stuff, you know. It's, yeah, it's an amazing crystal. I love it. I know I'm going to say this, but every single crystal. Like I said, I don't have a favorite crystal. I love them all. So, I apologize if this video is long. I am going over quite a few crystals, and obviously I don't want to just like give you guys, you know, oh yeah, this is a rose quartz and this is a citrine and, you know, this is this one and this is that and these are the properties and whatever. Like, I'm a very real person and I like to be real. So I like to attach my own personal experiences working with these crystals and what they've helped me with and what they've worked for me and helped guide me through and stuff. So, you know, if you don't have time to watch this video, you know, right then and there when I post it, at least it's there. You know, you can watch a bit of it now and a bit of it later, you know, whatever. It, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, I shouldn't even really apologize for the video for being long, but it is going to be a long video. So make sure you have your cup of tea. I have coffee. So So the next crystal I'm going to talk about is amethyst. My second daughter, Michaelia, this is actually her birthstone. And my best friend, Angel, this is her birthstone, and it's actually her favorite crystal. The chakra alignment for amethyst is your crown, third eye. So this is a chunk that I have of raw amethyst. Look at the beautiful sparkle, eh? All the little points here. I love this. And that's, see the back. It's got that nice grounding earth energy. And then I also have this chunk here as well. I have a few chunks of amethyst. And then I also have a point as well. I think I have 2 of these. I can't remember. I really should do an inventory of my crystals again. Yeah, and I have like another little tiny rough amethyst as well there. So amethyst. Just gonna grab my information here. This is a good calming crystal. It's a good to meditate with. This beautiful crystal has high vibrations, which means it can enhance psychic connection and development. Since it can work to the higher chakras, which like the selenite, it may not be a good bedside table crystal. So like the selenite, if you are sensitive, you know, and you're not able, or it, I'm trying to think how to word it. I apologize, guys. If you're not comfortable with opening up those doors, then you wouldn't want to have this crystal by your bed. I have tons of crystals around me that open all those doors because I'm working with my abilities and stuff. Like I want to work with my abilities and I want to open those abilities more and those gifts more. So I also have this piece of amethyst that my beautiful sister Jocelyn gave to me for Christmas, along with this beautiful witchy cup that says witch's brew on it. It's got the cute little witchy skeleton on it that I use all the time. I have 2 cups that I use, this one and another one. So yeah, so if you're not at that stage in your life where you want to work with those gifts, then I wouldn't have these crystals around your bedside. Okay. It's a focus crystal. Once it has calmed your mind and absorbed your worries, it becomes the ideal tool for decision making. It supports success in business, attracting wealth, and helps your path become clear so you can move forward on your journey. It is an all-around great crystal, gentle protection and magnifies the energy of all other crystals around you. It is good to have on you. Carry it around with you in your pocket or a little bag when you're out to protect you against negativity. When I hold my crystals at the end of my day, they are warm, which means they were doing their job. It also helps with obsessive thinking, calms your anger, and may hold as well as may help as you may hold as well as grief, nerves, and anxiety. So if you're suffering from grief, you have anxiety, nervousness, and stuff like that, it's a really, really good crystal to have, hence why I carry it, because it kind of keeps my tongue in check when I get those special people at my cash. Anybody who works with me, y'all know what I'm talking about. Especially during the last year, these times, I'm telling you, COVID has brought out some interesting behaviors in people. It's on a whole other level. When I come home from work and I hold my crystals are very, very warm, and a lot of people will think, oh, well, yeah, obviously they were in your boobs. Even the crystals that are in my pocket, and it's not overly hot at my work because it's a warehouse. If you've ever been to a Costco, it's a huge warehouse. So we have huge doors, and those doors are open, from 8 a.m. till, almost 9 o'clock at night. So, depending on the temperature outside, but during the winter, it's not hot. It's not that warm in the warehouse to where that happens, So the crystals are warm because the crystals were working with me. They were helping me with what I had asked them to help me with, So at the end of the night, obviously, when I'm putting my pajamas on, I take my crystals out. I will put my crystals in the center here. And then once I kind of do my bedroom routine and I'm ready for bed, I will cleanse them all again, I'll put some pieces of selenite around them, and I let them sit here on my altar in front of my window, which I always get the moon here, and I let them sit there. And then when I get up in the morning, as I'm getting dressed, I always do my card pulls for the day, and then I'll hold, my crystals. I do change my crystals. I kind of go with my intuition of which ones I feel like that I need to carry with me, but I always carry a piece of rose quartz and a piece of amethyst with me. And a clear quartz. Those are the three top that I always carry. And I'll hold them in my hand, and I'll put my intention into those crystals, and I'll ask them, to work with me. So each crystal with each of their specific properties, I ask them to bring those properties to me, So I have a multitude of different properties that are working with me and helping me and guiding me through my day, getting me through my day. So you can get amethyst jewelry. I have amethyst on my bracelet here that one of my sisters had given me. It's a Wheel of the Year bracelet. So it's got the nice, beautiful little leaf here, but it has amethyst right here. Each set of crystals on this bracelet coincides with the Sabbath. So like right now, obviously, because we're spring equinox, so it's in the amethyst section here. I've got clear quartz, green aventurine, and it goes all the way around. So it's, you know, again, really, really good crystal to work with, you know, to have on you. And these ones, the ones that we're talking about today, they're very, you know, they're easy to find. You know, I do have some other crystals that are a little more difficult to find, you know, in the stores here in Ottawa anyways. And I mean, I'll talk about those too, you know. I'll do like a series for like agate. Agate, there's so many different kinds of agate. It's crazy, you know. You know, you have fire agate, you have tree agate, moss agate, like there's so many. So now I'm gonna talk about smoky quartz. And I don't have any big chunky pieces of smoky quartz. And I actually can't even remember what these crystals were on this crown. My daughter had bought me this crown. I think it was for Christmas last year. It's either Christmas or my birthday last year. I can't remember. I wear it all of my online rituals that I do for the turning of the wheel. I always wear that. Depending, sometimes I'll wear it when I'm doing my witch work as well. So any spells, tarot reading, stuff like that. Sometimes I'll wear it too as well. I know when I need to wear it because it's like my energy, my intuition will kind of tell me like, hey, you know, we need to wear the crown, and I'll wear the crown. So smoky quartz, this is a tumbled smoky quartz. And this is a rough piece of smoky quartz. Actually, I think I have a point. Yes, I do. I have a point here as well of smoky quartz. So the chakra alignment for smoky quartz is your root chakra. Smoky quartz is a very protective crystal. It is good for absorbing negativity, negative energy around you. Any worries. It's a gentle grounding energy, helps you to rebalance, detoxify, and release past hurts. Its vibrations are earthly, a great crystal to raise your own vibration during energy work. Ask the crystal to absorb any lower vibrations you may have picked up during the day, and place it at the side of your bed. So this crystal is very good to place at your bedside, you know, so you can place it as close to your bed as you can, or even under your pillow if you don't move around a lot, and ask it to absorb, um, any lower vibrations that, you may have kind of absorbed throughout the day. So if you had like a really rough day at work, this is a really good crystal to work with, for, just put it, like I had showed you guys before, hold the crystal, take a couple of grounding breaths and just ask the crystal, to work with you and to help you release those lower vibrations. Can you absorb the lower vibrations that, I have absorbed from this stressful day today, so tomorrow, I can start fresh, kind of thing, and just put it under your pillow or beside your bedside, sleep with it, and, let it, work its magic, so to speak, and absorb those lower vibrations that, you had from that stressful day at work, which is one of the reasons why I'll always carry a smoky quartz on me in one way, shape, or form. I've gone to work where I've had like 10 crystals in my bra and like 4 in my pocket. There's some days where I'll wake up and it's kind of like I already know for some reason, because like the energy in the air is different. It seems heavy. And then I'm like, okay, it's going to be one of those days today. I need some extra help, so I'll carry a few extra crystals with me. And sometimes when I go to work and I have those crystals with me, and I see, if Angel's struggling with her, anxiety or something, I've given her a crystal to hold with her to kind of help her through the day. Jocelyn, the same thing, she forgot her crystals at home one day, because, she was, I guess running behind, and she forgot them. And she was like, oh my God, I forgot my crystals. Do you have any extra? And I had a couple of extra, and I had given her a couple to carry with her, for the day while we were at work, so I mean, sometimes I have, there's a reason I end up carrying those extra crystals, and I'll go to work and it is one of those days, and I get through those days because I carry these crystals. And, if I see someone who's extremely close to me and that I trust and know that I'll get my crystals back, I will be like, hey, carry this with you for today, just, I'll get it back at the end of the day, but just, carry it with you. It'll help you, and it helps them. So, it shines a light on any gifts that you may be hiding in the shadows of your soul. So sometimes we hide, and it's not an intentional thing. It's, you don't know you have, those talents. This crystal will help bring it out. It'll pull those talents out of the closet, out of the shadow, so to speak. I have a few crystals that I work with when I'm doing shadow work. This is one of them. I like the gentler aspects of the smoky quartz. So I use it to kind of add the gentle part, to, the gentle aspect, to kind of work with the other crystals that I have that, really pull, all the different, feelings and emotions and traumas and things like that, kind of come about when you're doing shadow work, right? So, I'll have this as a, it's still that loving hug as you're facing those, and reliving those traumas, because you have to relive those traumas, um, and, forgive those traumas and then release them. We need to do those in order for us to move forward, right? So for me, I like that. I like working with that crystal along with the more, I guess, aggressive and like in your face kind of crystals when you're doing shadow work. I use the two of them together, so that way I'm still, I still feel like I'm getting a hug as I'm facing all my traumas in my life, and becoming okay with them and forgiving them and forgiving myself, and then releasing it, so now we're going to talk about citrine. Citrine is a yellow crystal. If you have some, I think I have one here I'll show you. Just give me one sec, guys. Oh. Oop. So this is, it's naturally burnt amethyst. So it was more than likely an amethyst. And then just with the natural elements, so like the sun, the heat of the earth itself and stuff like that, it kind of burnt it. So they'll have pieces like this in crystal stores that will say citrine. It's more than likely burnt amethyst. Natural citrine, it's usually like a yellow. So like citrine, it'll be a yellow like this. So this one is, when I got it, it says citrine on it, but when I did more and more research, I don't know. No, it kind of looks, it's citrine because it's yellow right in the core here too. So yeah, so citrine, very good for creativity. Sorry guys, I just got an itch. Chakra alignment for citrine is the solar plexus. Natural citrine is a great manifester crystal. A crystal that has the ability to bring the right energies to you to help you in your manifestation work. It is also a great crystal for awakening the power for creativity and visualization within. It is also good for enhancing personal will and the necessary actions that may accompany our intent. It refreshes, re-energizes, gives you a boost, brings new beginnings, fresh opportunities into your life, attracting love and happiness, transmute negative into positive, helping you to see negative patterns around you and bring them to light. Known as a merchant's crystal for its ability to bring wealth and success. Citrine in your purse may help attract money to you. Brings pure joy to your heart, and its yellow and gold rays work the magic on your solar plexus and navel to remove any blocks. Good for those who are sensitive or empathic, as it increases the amount of protective light around your body and keeps your vibrations high. So good crystal to carry with you. I did a creativity charm bag here. It was one of my spell rituals from Witch's Casket. I think this one. You know what? It might not even have been citrine crystal in here. I think this was the one that actually had a blue lace agate in here. I did do one for creative. Yeah, this is a blue. Yeah. I did do a spell bag for creativity. And I had used a piece of citrine in it. I thought it was this one, but it's not. My apologies, guys. There we go. So yeah, you can do, you know, a little ritual for creativity, bringing in creativity, opening your creativity if you have like a creativity block. Citrine is very good for that. Bringing in wealth and stuff like that. There's another stone crystal that's very good for that as well, is pyrite, also known as fool's gold. Pyrite that's one of the properties for pyrite is abundance, and if you're doing money spells and stuff like that, pyrite is very good to use, as well as citrine and a few other crystals. You'll notice with crystals, some of them will have similar properties, or they'll kind of have the same, you know, one or two of the same properties as another crystal. But then they'll have different other properties in them as well. I have quite a bit of citrine. I had also gifted a citrine to my best friend as well. She, you know, was feeling like she needed one. Just, you know, we were talking about crystals in general, and I had a piece of citrine here, so I had gifted it to her. I've also gifted her some amethyst and stuff like that. So, okay, carnelian. I love carnelian. I know I said that for every single crystal that we've talked about, but like I said, I love crystals. So carnelian, chakra alignment, it's the base chakra. So this is carnelian. This is what carnelian looks like, guys. You can get it in different shapes. I have this one, and then like I said, I have my crystal here that I wear. You know, you can get it as a rough. I don't have any rough. I have points for my carnelian. I have this one, and I have a smaller point somewhere. Somewhere around here on my, I don't know where it went to. Oh, there it is. I see it. This is what happens. You have, you know, so many. I'm trying to grab it. Yeah, so so this is just like a smaller point. I've carried this one with me a few times. So carnelian, like I said, your base chakra. Carnelian is full of life force and vitality. It stimulates your metabolism. It activates your base chakra, influencing the female reproductive organs, increases fertility. It grounds, sorry, I lost my place. It grounds and anchors you in the present reality. It has high energy. It's great for restoring vitality and motivation. Carnelian imparts an acceptance of the cycle of life and removes fear of death. In ancient times, it was used to protect the dead on their journey to the afterlife. It gives courage, promotes positive life choices, dispels apathy, promotes positive, and dispels apathy and motivates in business and other matters. It is useful for overcoming abuse of any kind. It helps you trust yourself and your perceptions. Another reason why I carry it. The more and more I read on different crystals, it kind of surprised me and kind of made sense why I started becoming more and more drawn to working with crystals, just because they helped me and guided me with different aspects of my life from, childhood right through. For somebody, who, there are some people that, death gives them anxiety, and just frightens them so much that the thought of it is just unbearable. This would be a good crystal, for them to carry. And somebody who has had any type of abuse in their life, again, this would be a really, really good crystal to carry. It's a really, really phenomenal crystal. I love it. I can't say enough about it. Black tourmaline. I did have a tumbled black tourmaline, but I'm not sure where it went. Let me see. Maybe it's on my shelf here. There it is. Found it. I knew it was here somewhere. Okay. Sorry, guys. So black tourmaline, believe it or not, there's different colors for tourmaline. I just chose black tourmaline, but I'll just tell you the colors. I'm not going to go through the properties of them. One of the other crystals that I'll be talking about here is the same. Like that one has like there's more than one. So tourmaline, I mean, obviously we have the one that everybody knows, which is black tourmaline. I will show you guys. Just give me a sec. Let me rest that down. So this is a rough piece of black tourmaline. I don't have any big pieces of that one yet. This is a tumbled black tourmaline. So before I get into the properties of it, there's well, black tourmaline, there's blue tourmaline, brown tourmaline, colorless tourmaline, green tourmaline, multicolored gem tourmaline, pink tourmaline, purple violet tourmaline, red tourmaline, watermelon tourmaline, and then it's like pink enfolded in green, yellow tourmaline, black tourmaline with Mecca, black tourmaline rod in quartz, and tourmaline with lepidolite, lepidolite. Yeah, it's a whole lot of tourmalines. So those are the ones that I have in my book. There could be more. If there is more besides the ones that I just mentioned, feel free, put a comment down below, because I would love to kind of look up on it. So black tourmaline, the chakra alignment is your base chakra. Protects against cell phones, electromagnetic smog, psychic attack, spells and ill wishing, negative energies and of all kinds. It grounds energy, helps dispense tension and stress, clearing negative thoughts, promotes a laid-back attitude, and encourages a positive attitude, no matter what the circumstances is. You know, even if you can only have 2 quartz, clear quartz, you know, or sorry, even if you can only have 2 crystals to start off with, clear quartz and a tourmaline, black tourmaline, would probably be the first 2 I would tell you, you know, like, if that's all you can, you know, get right now, those would be the 2, you know. I'd say, you know, if you were able to get like 3 or 4, it'd be clear quartz, black tourmaline, amethyst, and rose quartz, you know. Just depending on, you know, what it is that you want to work with and things like that. But the 2 top, I would say, if you were going to start off, would be clear quartz and black tourmaline, because, you know. So the next one is black obsidian. So this was the other one, the other stone that I was going to talk about that had more than one. I just wrote about black obsidian. I have 2 different obsidians here. But there's black obsidian, there is blue obsidian, blue-green obsidian, electric blue obsidian, gold sheen obsidian, green obsidian, which I have a green obsidian up here, actually. Mahogany obsidian, which I have a mahogany obsidian here. So it's like a black or like a really, really dark brown. But it, like, you can see like lines of like a mahogany throughout the sphere. I don't know if the camera is gonna pick it up. There we go, right there. So you see how it has like the rings, the mahogany rings around it, and then like the black. So this is a mahogany obsidian. There's a rainbow obsidian, red black obsidian, silver sheen obsidian, Apache tear, which is part of the obsidian, snowflake obsidian, which I have a snowflake obsidian here. And that's it. That's all I have in the book. So, like the, there we go. Yeah. Like the black tourmaline, there's more than one. A lot of people will use black obsidian as a scurrying, to do scurrying work. So they'll get a really big piece of black obsidian. It'll be a specific shape. It'll either be a sphere. So this is a black obsidian here. I have a sphere one. It could be one that's, I also have a palm, a little smaller, worry stone, sorry. Actually, no, this is a palm stone. It's just a little on the smaller side. I got this in, I believe it was my Hag Swag subscription. So some people will get it. It'll be kind of like this shape, but it'll be bigger. And they would use the flatter side of it, and you stare into the crystal, you know, into the stone, and it's scurrying. You can also do it with water and stuff like that. You end up kind of going into a trance as you're looking at it. You know, some people will actually see symbols, visions, you know, stuff like that. But yeah. So black obsidian, it is a very powerful and creative stone. It grounds the soul and spiritual forces into the physical plane, bringing them under the direction of the conscious will, and making it possible to manifest spiritual energies on earth. Self-control is increased by the use of this stone as well. Excuse me. Black obsidian forces facing up to one's true self. So remember when I was talking about doing shadow work, black obsidian is really good for using, because it forces you to look and, you know, look deep. Taking you deep into the subconscious mind in the process. It brings imbalances and shadow qualities to the surface for release. It magnifies all negative energies so that they can be fully experienced and then released. This healing effect goes back into past lives and can work on the astral and family tree. It is a protective stone, repels energy, and disperses unloving thoughts. It helps the release of old loves and provides support during change. You know, if you're trying to get over past relationships, things like that, it's a good stone to have. Like I had said, when you're doing your shadow work, I believe there needs to be a balance between um, the light and the shadow. You know, we don't just focus on one and not the other, you know, because those always, they'll pop up at some point in your life, you know, and it's better to try and deal and work with them now when you're in a better place, you know, obviously mentally, emotionally. If you're not in an extremely good spot, I wouldn't really dive into shadow work right away. But I just kind of got, you know, started kind of not redoing, but revisiting my shadow self, so to speak. I did a little research on it first, a little more, for my shadow work. And funny thing, never realized previously, you know, past tense, you know, years prior, that what I was actually doing was shadow work. The only aspect that I wasn't doing was meditating. You know, I've always been one to write my feelings out. I have a very hard time articulating my feelings. Surprisingly enough, I am actually a very sensitive and emotional person. I mean, I'm an empath, obviously. So sometimes if I have a lot of feelings for something, I won't actually be able to articulate them properly, because the emotions kind of come flooding with the words at the same time, and then it's just a blubbering mess. So I'll write. You know, I've always been one to write my feelings down ever since I can remember. So, you know, that being said, not, you know, thinking back, and as I'm watching these and reading this information and learning about shadow work, I wanted to learn more about it before I actually started doing it, and not realizing, like, holy crap, I've been doing this my whole entire life, you know, writing down my feelings and writing down things that I wanted to change about myself, you know, and things like that. And I wasn't, you know, doing the meditation part about it and the releasing. You know, it's one thing writing it down, it's another thing of releasing it. You know, okay, we've written it down, we got it out. We now need to, you know, forgive it, love it, and release it. You know, so that's kind of what I'm doing now, you know, so to speak. I guess I'm finishing the work, you know. I learned just a proper, not a proper way, but a more efficient way, you know, of working with it. So then it's done, you know, like the cords have been severed. So hematite, I have a beautiful hematite. You'll know, hematite is always heavy. So if you go into a crystal shop, and I've been to a few where I've seen it, I don't say anything. What do you want me to say? You know what I mean? I'm not one for confrontation, you know. Specific things, absolutely, but like, you know, something like that, like sometimes it's not the store owner's fault. They just don't have a lot of knowledge themselves. But I remember going into a place and I was looking at their crystals when I was just first starting to get in, you know, really working with crystals and being drawn to them. And it said hematite. And I picked it up and I was like, huh, you know, and like hematite's probably one of the ones like I've always remembered just from, you know, other people having it. And obviously clear quartz, right? And amethyst, right? Hematite will always be heavy. It doesn't matter what shape, size, anything, it will always be heavy, you know, like it'll always have some kind of a weight. Even this small piece of hematite, like this is a small tumbled piece of hematite. Yep, just let me get my fingers going here. So this is a small tumbled piece of hematite, which I'll carry with me sometimes. It still has a bit of weight to it, you know? And then I have an actual sphere for hematite, and like, she heavy. She heavy. It will always be heavy, you know? So when I was learning more about crystals and things like that, I knew hematite is heavy. And this particular shop that I went into, they had a small little section of crystals, and I picked up the hematite, and I was like, yeah, this is not hematite. Like, there was no way. And you know, it was a bigger chunk than this one. There was no weight to it whatsoever. I was like, this is not hematite. But I mean, I didn't say anything. I was just, you know, whatever. So a hematite is particularly effective at grounding and protecting. It harmonizes mind, body, and spirit. Used during out-of-body journeying. It protects the soul and grounds it back into the body. So if you're working with doing meditation for out-of-body experience, astral travel, journaling, journeying, you know, astral traveling, anything like that where you're going to be leaving your body, you want to have some hematite either by you or on you. My kids, I mean, they don't laugh, but they kind of, you know, because when I meditate in my bedroom. So when I meditate in my bedroom, I have, back issues. So if I lie down to meditate. I can't really sit to meditate. I would have to buy like something specifically, you know, if I was going to sit to meditate, you know, I would need something specific for, you know, to help with like lower back and hip kind of thing, right? So I do my meditation in my bedroom. So I will lie in my bedroom and do my meditation. And I always, you know, text everybody in the house. I let everybody know I'm meditating. My door's closed. Don't, you know, don't bother me. Don't come in my room. Don't, you know. And I will always have crystals in and around me, on my bed, above my head. Like, I always, you know, and if I am doing something where I am going to be astral projecting or astral journaling or journeying or traveling, I'll always have a piece of hematite there. You know, anytime I'm meditating, I always have a piece of hematite, because even when I'm not intentionally wanting to astral travel, and, you know, do out of body journeying or anything like that, sometimes it just ends up happening, you know. So like, I never know when I'm meditating if that's something that's going to happen. So I just generally always have a piece of hematite on me or around me or beside me for that reason. It dissolves negativity and prevents negative energies from entering the aura, like your aura. Restoring peace and harmony to the body. It is also said it is beneficial for legal situations. Hematite is strong. It's a really strong stone. It supports timid women and boosts self-esteem and survivability, enhances willpower and reliability, and imparts confidence. This stone removes self-limitations, aids expansion. It is also a useful stone in overcoming compulsions, addictions. This is an amazing stone. Bring attention to the unfulfilled desires that are driving life. Sorry, I had a brain fart there for some reason. It's just, it's an amazing, I know I keep saying this in all of them. It's a really, really amazing crystal. Crystals in general are really amazing. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a crystal freak. So, so the last crystal and last crystal and stone that we are going to talk about now is lapis lazuli. I love working with this stone, especially when I'm working with my third eye. I have a few that I really like working with when I'm really doing that. So this is a small tumbled piece of lapis lazuli. See the beautiful, beautiful blue. It's got like other flecks of other colors in it. And then I have 2 wands of lapis lazuli. I have this one. And then I have this one. Obviously the chakra alignment for this is the third eye. Lapis lazuli opens the third eye and balances the throat chakra. It stimulates enlightenment and enhances dream work and psychic abilities, helps spiritual journeying. I don't know why I keep saying journaling. Good Lord have mercy. Journeying and stimulating personal and spiritual power. Lapis lazuli helps quickly release stress, bring deep peace. It has enormous serenity and is the key to spiritual attainment. It's a positive stone that contacts spirit guardians. So if you're trying to start working with your spirit guides and, you know, connect and contact with your spirit guides, this is a really, really good stone to use for that. Recognize the psychic attack, blocks it, and returns the energies to its source. So I carry a piece of lapis lazuli on me all the time, as I have it in my bracelet. But I will also carry a piece in my bra as well. Again, like I said before, it protects me, you know, from unwanted psychic attacks, right? So that's, you know, because you never know, like, you don't know the person next to you, or, you know, somebody, you know, that may feel like you rubbed them the wrong way. Maybe you didn't, but anyways, you know, you don't know what, you know, when they kind of give you that long, deep stare, you know, like, you know, you don't know what their thought process is. So you don't know what they're saying in their head. You know, just because they're not articulating it and saying it verbally does not mean that they're wishing ill intent on you. You know, they could be doing it in their psyche, you know, and putting it on you as they're gazing and staring in your eyes. There's a connection, you know, which is why it's very important when you're talking to people to look at them. It gives that connection, you know, like, hey, I'm talking to you, you know, whatever, you know. You know, so somebody, you know, who you come across, you know, at a store or in line at a store, or just, you know, whatever, and for some reason they're confrontational, and, you know, or they feel like you did something to them or whatever, you know, whether you did or not, you know, that, you know, long pause and stare that they're giving you, you don't know, like, unless you can read minds, which there are people that can, you know, but, you know, you can't read their mind, so you don't know what they're doing. You don't know what, you know, ill intent and harm and negative energies that they may be putting out to you, you know. So carrying this and some other stones and crystals, they protect you against that. It's literally like a mirror. So it comes to you and then reflects back to them, you know, hence the evil eye bracelet, my lapis lazuli on my bracelet here that was gifted to me by my sister Diane. And then, you know, the small tumble one that I'll carry with me. You know, there's a few other crystals that have that same property as well. Sorry, I'm just trying to find, okay. Teaches power of the spoken word. Can reverse curses or dis-ease caused by not speaking out in the past. This is one of the other, there's this one, and I believe there's another crystal and stone that kind of have the same property. Speaking out, you know, dis-ease about not speaking out in the past. This could be something, you know, from your childhood where you felt like, you know, you didn't have a voice. You know, and this was something that I really needed. And I still am, you know, working on and forgiving myself for, you know, for not speaking out, you know, like, for me, speaking out, and it's funny because everybody that knows me, they're going to be like, what do you mean? You are probably the most outspoken person we know. I am extremely outspoken. But when it comes to family, I'm not as outspoken, if that makes any sense. And with me, it's just, you know, especially with like, you know, my elders, you know, so anybody that's older than me, you know, I'm not as outspoken, because I have those old school, you know, I don't even want to say qualities because they're not qualities. It's just, I have those old school ways kind of embedded in me, and it's something that I'm trying to work with, to, you know, change. Yes, you need to respect your elders and, you know, things like that, but you also, there also needs to be a balance of where, you know, if you see that they're, you know, they're not being respectful to you and, you know, hurting you or causing you hurt, you know, you need to, it's okay to speak out about it and to speak out on it, you know, and, you know, very few people know, my childhood, but, you know, the people, you know, who grew up with me and know my struggles, you know, there was things that I would have loved to have said, you know, and spoke up on, you know, regarding my father for one. And that one is a big one because that one was literally right up till recent, right up till I was 39, you know, and, you know, I would always think back and, you know, what is wrong with you, Tammy? Why didn't you say this? You know, you should have said that, and you should have said this, and, you know, you should have did that. And, you know, I would beat myself up inside emotionally and mentally because I didn't say those things, you know, and I was always the one that would always put, you know, the hurt and the stress and you know, the yeah, like the hurt, the stress, the, you know, not returning, you know, the same, you know, positive energies and helpfulness and things like that that I gave them, you know, not returning that to me in the sense of like, just being there for me, or like, hey, thank you so much for, you know what I mean? Like, I would just always put, okay, it's just how it is. It's always been like that. I need to let go of it, move forward, and have a relationship, with my father. And I need to have a relationship, you know, um, with my brother. I need to have, you know what I mean? Because I was just so used and to condition, and I'm a fixer. I'm a mender. Like, I just, I want what other people have. They have all their family. They get along with all of their siblings, and all of their family is close. And mine's not like that. My family has never been like that, ever. I don't ever remember my family being like that. We weren't one to be continuously going and visiting, aunts and uncles and cousins and, things like that. That's not how the Moody family went, and my mother is an only child, so she doesn't have any siblings, you know what I mean? And her family was the same. They're not like that, you know what I mean? So that is what I grew up around. And, there was always just so much negativity and hostility and all of that stuff around me my whole entire life. And that was the norm, but I was always a pleaser. I always wanted to make sure that I was making everybody around me happy all the time. It didn't matter if I wasn't happy, and it wasn't until my mid 30s and coming into my late 30s that I was like, whoa, bish, you need to stop. It's time for you, and my immediate family, which is, my husband, my daughters, my kids, especially my two older girls, because they're older, they're going to be 26 and my other one just turned 20, so like, especially my oldest daughter, she's seen and has more memory of, the family struggles, between me and my family, so she knows. And, and she always says, because I wanted my girls to be outspoken and stuff, and if I did do something or whatever, like, I want them to come and talk to me and tell me so I can try and change it. And I have gotten so much better over the last, few years, especially the last year and a bit with it, that, I have, changed where, we can sit and we can talk about, things from the past, and, so that way we can kind of move forward and stuff. And, but she would always say, like, Mom, like, you got to stop always putting yourself out there so much when, you don't get anything in return. And it's not that I expect anything in return. It's the energy exchange in return. It has nothing to do with anything materialistic or anything like that. It's just returning it with the same energy. Do you know what I mean? And like, I'm giving you my energy. I'm helping you through this tough time, and, things like that. Return that energy by being appreciative of, what I gave you energetically, and don't just continuously be always taking. And unfortunately, I have family that are like that. And, my father is just, he is one that I was always continuously trying and forcing to be a part of his life ever since I can remember as a child, even when my parents were still together. I always felt like I had to force myself to have a relationship with him. I was always trying, to please him and make him proud, and to love me and want to be around me. It just, and every time as I got older, I mean, I'm from a broken home. My parents divorced when I was young. Separated when I was younger, got back together, and then separated again and divorced. I think the divorce was finalized when I was, like 12. something like that, 12, 13, somewhere around there. When I would go over to visit with my father, I always had the feeling like I was imposing. You know, I was a burden and I was imposing on him and his life and his home. And even as I got older, I lived with him for just under a year, like maybe about 6 months, 7 months, 6 to 8 months, before I moved in with my husband. I moved out a month before my 16th birthday because he asked me if I had any intention on living with my husband, you know, who I'm married to now. And I really hadn't thought about living with my husband. It hadn't crossed my mind yet. We hadn't even talked or discussed it, you know, and he was like, oh, well, I mean, if you want to live with him, you can go live with him now, you know. And that, for me, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, I guess, you know, because he didn't want me. He didn't want me there. You know, I was a burden. I was a responsibility, you know, and I never spoke up and said, well, why? Why do you want me to live with him? Why can't I live with you? Why can't we work on our relationship? You know, that now that it's just me and you know, and there's no girlfriend living here. It's literally just me and him. Like, why can't we work on our relationship to have a relationship? I left and I moved in with my husband. And I mean, by the, you know, grace of, you know, the universe and, you know, the gods and goddesses, our relationship worked out. You know, I was just going on 16. You know, I didn't have anywhere else to go if it hadn't worked out. You know what I mean? But I mean, obviously my husband's older than I am, but, you know, he really helped me, you know, grow and learn. And no, just because you have an argument doesn't mean your relationship's over. You're allowed to have disagreements, and in a relationship, that's, you talk about it, you know. And, you know, he really helped and showed me how to have a healthy relationship with a male, you know, which was really good because, you know, when we had our first kid together, and especially with it being a girl, it showed her, this is how a man is supposed to treat their wife. This is, you know, how a man is supposed to be and how they're supposed to act and, you know, that kind of thing, you know. So I didn't have as much of a worry with, you know, my daughters, you know, because they have very high expectations when it comes to men. You know, if you don't act and come correct of how our Father does and is, we don't have time for you to be in our life, you know. And it, you know, when other aspects kind of lead it up to, you know, a phone conversation with my father, you know, and you know, every so often it still kind of pops in my head and I'm like, man, why didn't I say this? Why didn't I say that? Why didn't I, you know, act like, you know, respond this way? And, you know, and then I have to stop myself and be like, no, gotta stop, you know. And 39 years old, you know, 38, 37, 38, I kind of started speaking out more of how my dad was or is with me anyways, and how he was with us as kids growing up, and who he really is. I don't care, you know. Yeah, you changed for your new family, but you didn't change for us, you know, growing up. And because I was around and, have mutual friends with my step siblings. Obviously they were going back and telling my dad everything, and I know they were, just there was no other way my dad would know what was being said, which I am the type of person, I will not say something and not back it up. If I said it out loud, is because I knew it was going to get back, and he just, I guess, started feeling a type of a way. And, I started being more open with posts on my Facebook. And like I said, I was 39, and it all kind of started with one post that I posted on Facebook. It had something to do with Father's Day. I think it was something, to all the good fathers out there who are like a positive influence and active in their child's life. Happy Father's Day. And for all you deadbeat fathers out there, take a seat. We'll celebrate your day on April Fool's Day. I thought it was funny. Coincidentally, I actually wasn't even thinking about my father. I was actually thinking of some family and extremely close friends who I consider family, who are single parents and don't have their child's father in their life because they're a deadbeat. They're too busy gallivanting around or whatever, right? So I posted it for them, not even really thinking or making the connection to myself personally with my father. And he had made a comment on the post and was like, that's hurtful, or that's rude and just hurtful, or I don't know, something along those lines, because this was a few years back. And I was going to respond to, and I was going to say, well, if the shoe fits, lace that bitch up. And then I did it. I don't really like to engage in banter and arguing on Facebook. I don't have time for that shit. I'd rather, face to face. And then, but again, it's that whole, respect your elders freaking crap that was embedded into me as a kid growing up, right? So I didn't say anything. I just left it. I chuckled, but I did tell both my daughters about it. And they pretty much said the same thing that I just said. And then I think it was just after Canada Day. For whatever reason, I think I wanted to show somebody a picture of something, but it was on my dad's Facebook. I couldn't find him on my Facebook, and I was like, what the hell? And I couldn't find my stepmother on my Facebook either. And I had both of them on my Facebook for years. And yeah, they took me off their Facebook, completely blocked me. Like, I can't even look them up on Facebook. So then I thought, well, maybe they took their Facebook down, because I know at one point he was talking about it. This is a while back. And I was like, oh, maybe he just closed his Facebook down. So I went to my cousin's place to get my hair done, because she's my hairdresser. And I had mentioned it to her, and she goes, what are you talking about? I said, I'm telling you. And she's like, nah, sis, like, he's still. So she pulled up his Facebook and showed me, and I was like, she goes, huh? And I had my phone and I was showing her. I'm like, I can't even look his name up. And then she was the one that had told me. She's like, well, the girls are right. Like, he blocked you, like, completely blocked you. Like, I can't even look either of their names up, like, nothing. And it bothered me. And I was like, well, what the hell? And then it was literally, I think a month or two after is when I got the phone call. And we kind of played phone tag for a bit. And I thought it was because he was calling about my uncle, who is my godfather, and I love my uncle to death. I wish that I would have been able to see him more and be more a part of his life as I got older. Just I don't drive, and they moved out of Ottawa, so I never saw them. Like, I hadn't seen them in years and years and years, you know. So finally I got a hold of him, and that was the first thing I had said was, you know, is Uncle Charlie okay? Is everything okay? And, oh yeah, no, I wasn't calling about him. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just, you know, started talking about the kids and how they were doing and stuff. Every time I talked to my father, or if I went to my dad's place to visit, or even when we were going there for Christmas dinner and exchange gifts and stuff, I always felt like I was imposing and that I didn't belong. But I would always push those feelings down because I wanted my kids to be a part of a family, and to have cousins, and to have all that stuff that I didn't have, you know, because my cousins are like 10 plus years older than me. You know what I mean? So I didn't have anybody around my age, you know? So it was just my cousin who does my hair, you know, and me, her and I are like sister, like she's my little sister. So, you know, but like with like my dad, like family that way, it's, I didn't have anybody, you know, we weren't close. So I would always push those feelings down and would make sure that they tried to have a relationship with their grandfather. They only had one grandfather, you know, and I didn't find out till later that my oldest one first felt the same way, but never wanted to say anything because she didn't know what to say or how to say it, you know, so she would kind of do the same, you know. And then as my second daughter kind of started getting a little bit older, and then even now that she's old, like, you know, she's an adult, she looks back and can actually verbalize and say, okay, so that's what that feeling was, and that's why I was feeling that way, you know. And she kind of felt the same way, but just didn't have the knowledge or the words to articulate what those feelings were, you know. So anyways, he called me to basically tell me that he didn't think that I was his daughter, and you know, he needed to clear his conscience, and because he was tired of always feeling like the bad person and stuff. And I didn't say anything, you know. I mean, obviously I questioned it, and I was like, well, you know, how do you think? And, you know, we kind of went into about dates and this and that, whatever. And then I was like, well, I look like both of your sisters, so how do you explain that? Oh, well, you know, like he kind of had an answer for everything, which it made no sense anyways. So, but I left it at that, and then still tried to change the subject and have a conversation with him about my kids, you know, and how they were doing and how I was doing, because I still wanted that, oh, you know, you're doing so good, I'm so proud of you. It was such a weird conversation. And when I got off the phone, and then I started going into like a dark place, you know, just because of everything. And, you know, you always wonder why, you know, how come, you know, like, how come he doesn't want to have a relationship with me? You know, what did I do? How come he doesn't want to love me? How come he doesn't want to have a relationship with my kids? And yada, 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 you know. And then fast forward, I start witch school, and I start learning ways and techniques to, and having that community of sisters, you know, to help me and work with me and teach me and just be there, you know, to even just listen, you know, to what's, rambling in my brain, but it taught me ways of how to deal with all of it and work with it and accept it and forgive it and release it. And one of the big, huge things was just not speaking my mind, and not even being able to speak my mind because I can't even find him on social media to even inbox and be like, hey, yeah, you may have taken me off your Facebook, but this is how I feel and this is how you made me feel. And I just wanted to let you know because I needed to release that, so not even having that outlet to even be able to do that was really hard, because it's like I couldn't even write him to tell him my feelings and how I felt and how he made me feel growing up. It was so hard because I had nowhere to release that. I had no outlet to release that. So I just held on to it, and when I started working with crystals and learning their properties, that was one of the first crystals that I came across was this crystal. And the properties of like helping you release not being able to speak out from speak out of things from the past. And it's really helped me. And then obviously I have some spells and rituals that I do, that I started doing that same time to release, that, and then, some of my, my sisters, my crones, so to speak, hey, Tammy, you can do this and this spell, and this ritual to help release it into the universe and release it back, into Mother Earth and Mother Nature. And so that way you're not holding on to it anymore. And, and the more and more I worked with the energies of the crystal and the energies of the elements, east, fire, air, fire, water, earth, and spirit, the more I worked with those elements, and it got better and it got more easier, and I was able to, start letting things go and forgive myself and stuff like that. And, obviously you're always working on it, and I'm still continuing to work on it because I have a childhood, I have my life that I have to, kind of sift through and gradually each piece and work that and then release it and then go to the next one and kind of bring that trauma up, work with it, feel it, forgive it, and then release it. Like I have to keep going through it, and I'm kind of starting as an adult right now because those are the ones that are more present that I'm working with, and then releasing them and then kind of moving down the line, and so if, you have, those kinds of traumas and where, you felt like you didn't have a voice and it wasn't your place to have a voice or your place to even speak, or have your own words. Lapis lazuli it's such an amazing stone to work with to help you get that voice and just to forgive yourself, for not having that voice then. It's not that you didn't have it, it's just we were conditioned to not have a voice, especially when it comes to family and especially when it comes to your elders in your family. We were conditioned, that we're not to have a voice when it comes to them, and it's wrong. You know, we have a voice for, it doesn't matter who it is. I don't care who you are. You know, now I need to work on myself to have that same outspoken attitude to the world. I need to have that same energy when it comes to family matters, you know, and not push them down, you know. Sorry, that was kind of a little rant, but that was my first like real personal journey with this crystal when I came across and started reading more about it and working with it. It really helped me in that aspect of my life of like, you know, forgiving myself, you know, for not speaking up and not having that voice, you know, for that particular time in my life, you know, especially when I became an adult and I was an adult and, you know, I could have, you know, I wasn't a child where, you know, you were in fear of speaking your mind and, you know, getting a spanking or something, you know, like, no, I'm an adult. I have a husband and children of my own. I should have had a voice and I should have said something, you know, and I still didn't. I was still that little girl that didn't say anything and just still kept pushing and trying and pushing and trying and pushing and trying, you know. And then it was literally like a switch that went off of my brain, and that was like, no, enough's enough. We're stopping this. And literally my true feelings on different things, it was like it just walked out of my mouth, you know. And it always started with something for Christmas, you know, and they would be talking about Christmas and how, you know, my dad and his wife went over to one of my step siblings' place for Christmas and stuff like that. And, you know, I would always say, oh, you know, it must be nice, you know, like my kids, you know, they don't even want presents. They don't look for presents. They literally just want family, you know, and the connection of family and everybody being together and that kind of thing, right? So, and that's kind of how it started. And then more people would start talking, oh my God, you know, and yeah, I met your dad, you know, your dad's so cool. And then again, you know, would walk out. Don't know, couldn't tell you. Haven't seen him in 2 years. You know, and it was those little, I guess, jabs, you know, that started coming out. And then after, I'd be like, oh my God, what the hell did I just say? Why did I say that? What the hell's going on, you know? And I remember having the conversation with my husband and I was telling him, and I was like, I mean, I don't care if it gets back to my dad because I'll be like, yeah, I said it because it's true, you know? And my husband's like, it's because you're tired. Like, he goes, you need to stop, you know, trying to force the relationship, you know. And I was like, yeah, but like, it's my dad. And he goes, it doesn't matter, you know, because we both have very similar childhoods, you know. So, but he's very cold in the aspect where like he cuts you off, like that's it, that's all, you know. As for me, you know, I can cut other people out of my life, but when it comes to my like close immediate family, it's very hard. I'm a nurturer. It's just who I am. You know, I like to nurture everybody, you know, and make sure everybody is okay. You know, that's who I am. That's how I am, you know. So it's very hard for me to do that, you know. Like sometimes I'll cut people off, you know, for a while and then eventually like start kind of rekindling that relationship with them and trying to work with that relationship and get a relationship back with them, which 9 out of 10 it ends up slapping me in the face and backfiring. And then I'm like, Jesus Christ, come on, Tammy, you know. And it's just, that's just who I am, you know. And he's like, well, you need to stop, you know. And that's how it started. And I was like, oh, okay. And then it kept going from there and there. But then again, when that phone conversation happened, in my head, I was like telling him how I felt, but it never came out my mouth. And I think it was just, I was in such shock, and then now the aftermath was, and I would always replay that conversation in my head. I would be going on the bus to work and I would be crying. And anybody that knows me, I'm not one to cry in public, and I would be crying on the bus on the way to work because I would be playing that phone conversation in my head of what I should have said and how I should have handled it and how I should have reacted, and I never did, And then even when I was at work, because I, worked with my step siblings, it ended up creating such a stressful environment for me, and it wasn't healthy. It was negative, and I didn't like going to work. And I've been working since I was 16, 15. So like it was hard, and I generally, like, I love the company that I work for, so it was really hard, and I didn't know what to do, and stuff like that, and I would be coming home on the bus from work, and I have an hour and a half bus ride to work and an hour and a half bus ride coming home from work. When I was at that particular location, and I would be crying, and because of what I should have said and should have done. And then I remember talking with my family here, like my husband and my two older girls, about possibly taking stress leave just to figure things out. And then I remember speaking to somebody in the office about it too, actually, and they were, this particular person had taken stress leave quite a few years actually for it, because it, I get like got worse, I guess, when she was off, and but now, like, she was fine, and like, got help, and she was back, back at work and things like that, whatever. And I remember talking to them about it, and I got all the information about and paperwork for it to apply for it. And this particular person had pulled me aside and asked, like, hey, Tammy, can I talk to you in the office? And I talked to them, and this person was like, okay, what are we doing? Or like, what are you doing? And how are you doing? And did you get the paperwork filled out and things like that? And that's when I told her, and I was like, no. I said, no, I didn't. I said, I'm not going to take it. And this person was like, are you sure? Like, it really sounds like you need it. Because, like, I actually broke down and was crying in the office, right? And I was like, no. I said, I'm not going to give him the satisfaction of, getting in my head and having that much control over me to where I need to take time off work and money out of my home and out of my pocket, and food out of my kid's mouth because he wants to be an ass. And so what? He can go and tell people, oh yeah, she's crazy. I told you she's crazy, just like her mother. No, I'm not. And no, my mother's not crazy. She was married to you, And I said, no. I said, I'm good. I'm going to work through this myself. And I did. And that was like, that was the first step on my journey, and that's what I did. And I pulled my boots up and I laced them bitches up, and I kept walking forward. And I ended up coming across, you know, the the social media page for Witch School. I got in contact with the lady that owns it and runs it, talked with her. I registered myself. I paid for it, paid for my tuition myself, went through Witch School for a year, made a beautiful connection with all of my sisters in my cohort, previous ones that were there, their alumni, and a huge community, like just webbed out like a spider web. And I have all of that connection, and I have all of their energies and guidance with me, and light, and I always hold on to it. And you know, we all stay in connection, you know, connected to one another. And I mean, obviously with COVID, it's not as, there's no physical connection, which kind of sucks, you know, but we always connect in one way, shape, or form or another over social media and Zoom and, you know, stuff like that. And that was my journey. And then we started talking about different crystals. And then I started feeling the connection and the pull to crystals. And then, you know, I came across this crystal, and that's when I started working with that crystal. And, you know, and it led me to where I am now, you know, and I am so appreciative and have so much gratitude for, you know, everything that I went through in my life, you know, negative and positive, and all the paths that I traveled on from the time I was a child throughout my life till now, you know, that we were meant to go on those paths. And, you know, these crystals and stones will work with you and help you through those different paths, you know, from your past life paths and journeys right up into your present, and then your future, you know. And they're just such amazing crystals and stones to work with, and their properties and contributions that they can help with you is just, it's amazing and it's magical. And you know, if it's something that you're pulled towards, you know, working with, I encourage you to follow it and read up on them and learn them. I'm still learning them, for Pete's sakes. I don't know every crystal. That's I have to write them down and read them down and read them and stuff, you know, because there's so many, you know. And like I tell you guys, as I learn on this path, I will do a video to hopefully help, you know, teach and guide, you know, people that are new to this path and just kind of coming about finding their path, you know. And yeah, I just, sorry about the long tantrum, but I have a lot of personal experiences working with so many different crystals, and the lapis lazuli is one that I work with quite frequently. So it's one that I really, 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 really hold dear to me for that reason. So yeah, sorry about the long video, but it is what it is. Like I said, I want to attach a personal aspect to each of the crystals, from a personal point of view of when I was working with them, and the experiences that I had working with these crystals. So, I mean, I kind of knew that the video was going to be long. So, if you guys have any personal, like any experiences working with these crystals, feel free to put a comment down below. If you like my channel, hit the like and subscribe button, and hit the little notification button so you'll be notified every time I upload a video. And enjoy your journey as you learn all of these crystals and stones. And I'll try not to make the next video as long. And I hope you guys have a blessed and magical Sunday. Blessed be. Stay safe, guys.